Okay. Giving it a test. Okay. Giving it a test. Sounds good. Alright. We are ready to roll. Welcome to part 2 of carding with the Jogress Imperial Digimon. We took a little break, uploaded 7 videos of the Jogress quest. Finally, as it is up for editing, and will be out as soon as it's done, and it will be done eventually. I'm just not in a hurry to do it right away. Yeah. I'm trying to get 24 mode selectors, 12 if I'm lucky, for at least Vmon to carry me around the digital world. I do have 44 minutes since the last 49 minutes we left off with at the end of the last video, or the last stream I should say. And we now have 34 minutes to get this done. We're going to close that, and then come over here and summon 3 and get things on the ball. So, right where we left off, we were hoping to use Imperial Digimon Jogress to get through the map, including Susanoo, to get the X factors that we need for Omni. We're going to need the Jogresses to once again get us to the maze, so we can get through the 3rd floor of that and finish the quest there. Then we can head over back to Maze Entrance and finish the Jogress quest in the Omnimon picture there. Because we already got like 2 Jogresses down already, which one of them will have to be redone by Marcus D5, because I messed it up on this channel, or this character, rather. I tried to record it before, but it didn't translate very well, so I have to do it again. I may have lost some footage here and there, or here or there, and it didn't pan out so well for me in the end, because the gates were getting too tough for me to handle with Paladin mode as burst mode, and I wasn't fully cloned at the time. Well, he wasn't fully cloned, I should say. But yeah, I'm trying to deal with things as they come along. For right now, he's only got 1 skill fully cloned, and the rest are at 10. And the one that's at 15 right now is Block. He can dodge pretty well for a Digimon his size, but other than that, his cloning activity seems a little bit more work. And I got to clone some Jogress Digimon as well, come to think about it. Now that we're on the topic, there's Alphamon. He's got like 3 clones in. He's not fully cloned yet, and we only have Dorumon with the ride mode for Alphamon or Ryukin. And I was shocked when I saw that they changed the effectiveness of the Digiaura. And they changed it in a way to where it's like no longer dragging away from burst mode or Jogress at all. In fact, the DS is now contained, as you can see up here. I'm not in any need necessary to use any refillments at all to contain it. And back then, it used to be a problem. And I mean a major problem. It got so bad as to use KSE every 5 minutes for a Jogress, every 2 minutes for a burst mode. Megas were just fine and dandy. Anything that didn't involve a evolutionary item while in the process of digivolving, like accelerators or a Jogress chip, didn't hold out so well the current standing Digiaura, which I'm very thankful for now because they changed almost everything about this whole situation. So it's no longer a mess. It's now fully functional and operational and very cooperative. And I don't have to waste any energy or resources to do something that I need to get done. If that makes any sense to me. Because if you look at it in spirit value, Susanomimon's Jogress, that uses a heck of a lot of DS, and I've seen a lot of people use Susanomon, and how much it drains on DS, even with Aura on. With Aura off, it would be depleted in seconds. With Aura on, it would be depleted in minutes, less than 3 minutes, and that sucks. So I'm glad they changed it. Aura is definitely needed. And I couldn't stress it enough when I say that when they changed the look of the Jogress chips, which I don't understand why they need to change to begin with, but I understand why. Because back when Susanomon came out, there was like 2 different Jogress chips, I believe, and they wanted to lessen it down to just 1. I mean, the only difference with Susanomon that was really needed was the spirit elevators, because Susanomon was too strong to even evolve with hybrid spirits, as it were, to, you know, fully function. And in the coding process, it takes accelerators for burst mode Digimon to evolve, and it takes Jogress chips for Jogress to evolve. So with Susanomon, it took spirit accelerators and Jogress chips to evolve, since it was a hybrid. I do believe for each spirit it was 10 spirits for Magna Garurumon, 10 for Emperor Greymon, and all together would be 20 spirits. 22 in common those 2 I just mentioned. And that wouldn't hold up very well on the consideration. So yeah, it was pretty much needed. Wow, they really changed these MCs up, didn't they? Yeah, we've had Tamers of the Old quit the game fairly early when it came to Game taking over, where Joymax was unnecessary. And to that extent, we had a lot of people complaining about how server maintenance was being taken care of. And the only people that I actually seen complaining about that were mostly the people who used bots because they knew they were in trouble. And the people who were involved with handling the situation, I'm surprised Move Games would actually help fix that part of the game, because I signed up back in 2013, which I probably already relayed this in the last video. I signed up back in 2013 at the look of expense that people were writing Digimon like Metal Garurumon, for example, all around the digital world, and I saw the digital world for its expense and composure, and I saw the Digimon at their graphical expense. And I was like, what game is that? Somebody mentioned about Digimon Masters Online, because I seen vague posts about that on Facebook at some point in time, and I was very new to what it was, and I didn't even know about it until like 2010, I believe it was. And whenever I finally found the website to actually download it, somebody actually sent me the link, and whoever sent me the link didn't even get the chance to add me to their friends list because I wanted to join them on their server and play for a bit. But since that didn't happen, I guess I met some more new friends and had a lot of fun in the process. Well, these cards are barely doing anything to this Jogress at a 3x5. I can't wait to see what happens after he goes exponentially. This Paladin is a tiny bit shorter than the burst mode Paladin, which I am shocked by, actually. Because whenever I've seen a 5x5 version of it at DATS, since Silver pointed it out, and yes, that video will be coming out shortly, because I'll be editing it in the morning. Silver announced that the Paladin was there in Jogress form, and if you hover your mouse over it, it did explain Jogress, because look what happens when I do this. Right. Actually, it's not going to do it to this guy. How about over here? Oh. I guess I can't do it with my own Digimon. But yeah, it says Jogress, and whenever I pulled out my 5x5 burst mode, it towered over my burst mode. I was like, dude, that's gonna be ours in a couple of months. We got excited, dude. That was awesome. And it's gonna be even cooler whenever it actually happens, because once we get that growth root for these two Digimon, it's gonna be wicked. I'm just sad at the fact that I would have to hatch one Digimon after the next, since there's no way of getting daily aura without a coin. There's no free way to get aura, by the way. There used to be an event where I wish they would actually bring it back, by the way, where you can actually pick up a dropped item, which was rare because it was an event. A dropped item that contains permanent Digiaura or a Joker strip inside. I missed that day. Only a select few from my team actually got permanent items, and I was sad to see them go, but they said that they were taking a break from Digimon Masters at one point, but they never came back. I remember one of them being Tafadzwa, and can't remember the other ones. The ones I do remember ended up quitting anyway because they felt the need that they were getting too old for this. And I'm like, dude, it's nostalgia. Nostalgicness doesn't... How do you say that? You can't grow out of nostalgia. At the age of 50, and you played video games since you were like 5, and the first console system you've picked up was a Nintendo, and you're still playing it into your 50s, nostalgia. I had to bring that up because my uncle Terry, he owned this Atari, and one of the games he mostly played was Pac-Man. There was like Tetris and stuff in there too, but I was more interested in that Mario game because he was like fighting Donkey Kong and stuff, and I was like, this is pretty cool. It was my Uncle Terry who introduced me into video games. And after I got hooked, I was like, there is a reason for my existence after all. Because back in the 80s, and you'll notice the 80s were crap. Freaking bell bottoms and lack thereof, straight jeans and normal clothes, period. God, it was terrible. And back then, there wasn't much of a style then either, because you would have to wear these like striped shirt designs and shirts made from these gator farms or something like that. It's like completely dull in form. And I was waiting for something that was more my style. Nothing coverall or what would you call it? Country. Or the 70s. Or it's like hippie or country or anything that involved music in any sort of fashion sense. For me, it had to be games. It had to be. That or anime. And yes, anime existed back then too, because look at what happened to Johnny Quest. I'm not talking about the old Johnny Quest. I'm talking about the one that went into the virtual world Johnny Quest. I would be surprised if somebody grabbed these clips of me talking about these things and started downloading these clips and be like, yeah, I can give you some visualization to help you out with your explanations. Sure, that'd be possible. That would be awesome. I mean, we've had Cartoon Network for a long time. Toonami even. Toonami Tom was my lifesaver. Because the G.I. Joe reboot, I think He-Man was in there somewhere. Masters of the Universe. Who else? There's so many I cannot remember them all. VR Troopers, that's not Toonami related, but still, I was in that. I don't know if you played Mario or Sonic anime or animations, but those two were rocking. What is this? Tuskmon. Ooh. More Tuskmon eggs. Nice. I ran out of food. I need some more food. Food supply. Not much, but I'll have to do for now. Yeah, because the red light gives you more HP than it does DS. That's why I need to consume like a lot of it. And with this Jogress, I don't need that much HP. I just need DS. And it's kind of sad that this is revolving event doesn't come in with blue lights. was so excited too whenever Metal Gear Rising was coming out. Solix and I were so stoked to play that game on stream. I was like, this is going to be awesome. Just to share information about what was going on, what Kojima was thinking about in the process, and having all this talk that Young Yao now talks about. And I didn't even know about Young Yao until Scrata said something. And I didn't meet Scrata until like 2015, I believe it was. What is this? Oh, it's over here. And the fool decided to spawn up the stairs. But yeah, Solix found out that along the way of the Phantom Pain, there was this link between Metal Gear Rising and Metal Gear Solid 5. And that link resided somewhere in Metal Gear Solid 5. What was it? It's not the Phantom Pain, I forgot the title. Heck of a thing to forget. But it was like the short version of the Phantom Pain. It's like the one that came before the Phantom Pain. Whatever it was that. And there's like some secrets into that game to which you yourself would have to scan logos of past games inside that base without being spotted and whatnot, and take care of everything very stealthy without any stealth items whatsoever. Excuse me. I don't think you're even allowed to have any weapon suppressors or anything like that at all. But he played that game for hours, and he got into it so much that he found out that there was a way to actually play as Raiden. I said, cool. What else? He said, well, there is a way that you could play as Metal Gear Solid 1, Solid Snake, and Gray Fox. But they're not going to be 3D. I was like, what? He said, yeah, they're not going to be 3D. Like how we see the characters in Metal Gear Solid 2, I believe it was. I said, dude, they remastered that game into Twin Snakes for GameCube. Why not? I guess it had something to do with Kojima's first brainchild, I believe it was explained. Because when Metal Gear Solid was first made as Solid, it was just Metal Gear before Solid. It finally reached PlayStation. And then before that, it was in handheld consoles regarding Nintendo, Xbox, and so on and so forth. And then it finally reached Sony, and Sony was like, you have to make this a console exclusive. And every once in a while, you'll see the console exclusive being the key word that's no longer going to be existing anytime soon for whatever reason. People are freaking out about it. But anyway, so this was supposed to be a Sony's exclusive. And right after Metal Gear Solid came out, Metal Gear Solid went up into advancement with Metal Gear Solid 2. And that's when Raiden first came in. And he was later then... oh, wait, that's MC6. Whoops. He was later then realized as the cyborg in Metal Gear Solid. No. Metal Gear Solid 4. Yeah. Because he was going about doing cyborg enhancements since 2. Because right after 3, 3 was all about Snake, how the first boss came to be. And I guess Kojima was backtracking the steps that it took to get this far. He was going through Snake Eater to PSP games to anything that would link the story to how he became the big boss. And people enjoyed that so much that it became a thing in the recent history. And up until now, since the Phantom Pain was fully released, people even got more upset that the story was short because of Kojima's order to cut the story short, you know? Because he was given, Konami gave Kojima permission to do what he wanted with this project. And then it took too long, and Konami was running out of money and resources. And after Metal Gear Solid 5 came out, it was supposed to be a big success. Konami then turned around and fired Kojima after not being able to, but declined to go and accept his reward for his brainchild expansion for lasting this long into the years. Konami decided to fire Kojima right off the spot, and I guess they did it publicly. And Konami went into this frenzy about taking off Kojima's name off of those games, and without any further mentioning Kojima whatsoever. I said, that's impossible. As a fan for both Konami and Kojima, that can't be done. Because number one, people loved those games. People gave credit to those teams, and teams in mention, including the publishers at Konami. So that can't happen. And I feel bad about this situation, but it is what it is. I'm just glad that there was no microtransaction going on inside the game, because people were mostly worried about Kojima's pride and joy falling into the abyss of pachinko machines. That's it. That's the word I was looking for. And a lot of fans were upset. They were fired up into an uproar when they heard that Kojima got fired. But it did not come with good news afterwards, because Kojima then announced his latest project about a year or two down the road afterwards, that he was working on the next brainchild with Sony. I believe it was Sony. I forget what the new project was called. I think it was like... Yeah, I can't remember what the title of the game is. Some people that may know about this already can't explain it much better than I can. Mysterious top quality egg. I'll scan that later. But yeah, after the release of that game, it felt like Metal Gear Solid 4 was coming back again. Because the trailer was so in that depth. Because right after Metal Gear Solid 4 was released for PS3, not PC, PS3, I had this urge to want this game so badly that I wanted to use that stealth camouflage for God knows how long now. Because you were given the opportunity, as well, without the actual stealth camo, but you'd have this camo armor that would change shape and form due to the surroundings. You would have Snake pose in certain spots where his armor would actually change into that shape and color of its set surroundings, and I loved it. Dude, that was awesome. And whenever this trailer came out for the new project, and I was like, dude, this is going to be even better yet. And then Konami released something about Metal Gear Solid 5 Survival. People raised an eyebrow. They were very skeptic about that. Very skeptic. Because, to be honest, and I'm surprised devs haven't figured this out yet, the zombie game has been overdone. Okay? We've had Resident Evil, first off. Then we had... Wait. What was it? Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead 2. Well, actually, the whole Resident Evil series, the whole Left 4 Dead series, 7 Days to Die. I mean, there's a whole bunch of zombie games out there. If you are a fan of Angry Joe Review, I'm just putting it out there. I'm not giving him a shout out or anything. If you are a fan of Angry Joe Review, go over to his channel. He'll explain it a lot better than I can. He's already got a video about it and everything. Because they keep putting it out with zombie games after zombie games and after zombie games at the mention of Metal Gear Solid 5 Survival. And Angry Joe and Joe, Plain Joe, his friend Joe, by the way, appalled by this game. And one of my friends and 2 of his friends, mind you, were playing this game and said it wasn't bad. I was like, I'm surprised they didn't turn into a pachinko machine. There's like, well, there's a lot of criticism because of it being like a zombie game, which it's not. It's more of an affection as a dude. That's what zombies are, an affected disease. How else would you expect the living dead to rise again? I mean, Resident Evil was the first to actually come up with a recommendation of how that was made possible. It was a virus that the Umbrella Corporation created, and so on and so forth. And I said, that crap was way overdone. In fact, Devil May Cry, if I'm not mistaken, Devil May Cry had something to do with a vampire. There's not enough games about vampires and werewolves in sequence, mind you, in sequence, to actually handle something in that captivity. In fact, I would go as far as to say is there's nothing out there in mention of werewolves at all. In fact, Castlevania is one of the games that actually has something to do with vampires, but not a single mention about a werewolf at all. Not that I know of. if there is, I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're given the freedom to. But I don't see any mention of werewolves. I mean, some games maybe, not all. And heck, Underworld came out with a great movie and possibly a book series, if I'm not mistaken. They might have a book series out there. I believe I heard about that somewhere. And it could have came out with a very interesting game if done properly. But the way I hear it, movies these days that are coming out with remakes, we're talking about making movies for like Assassin's Creed and Metal Gear Solid. They were afraid that Metal Gear Solid wasn't going to be a box office hit unless somebody knew how to do it right. The only one who could judge that would be Kojima himself. And since Kojima was fired, Kojima has no way to be a part of that project. So that's going to be entirely no. Sadly. Because Konami won't let them. And Assassin's Creed was a box office hit, actually. That was done properly. Kudos to the guy who played as Magneto. I cannot remember names for the life of me, so please don't hold that against me. Yeah, there's like this mass of people talking about how Metal Gear Solid 5 Survival was going to collapse. There's like 85% of the population saying no. 3% of the population saying, why not? We'll give it a shot. And the 1 or 2% saying this was a big disaster. I shouldn't have played this. But the people who stood at the 85 were probably correct on that. Because without the operative thought process of Konami thinking about how, or, doing this properly, would know how to handle that very well. Because people who actually, done the mind game thing know how to scare people with zombies properly. Resident Evil 7 was a big prime example of that. With the whole coming out of the darkness scare tactics and the jump scare theatric. I mean, that was freaking awesome. I've seen Markiplier and Jacksepticeye jump out of their chairs because of that little sideshow, and I'm like, that will never happen to me. That would definitely not happen to me. And the only closest game that I came across to almost scaring me would be Soma. And Soma was like one of those brain-rattling games that were like, I bet you can't even get past this level without, hiding behind a wall or something. And I said, even if I started to hide, I would still be found. And when I'm found, I'm immediately dead anyway, because these NPCs will find me regardless of the situation. And I guess Markiplier wanted to say that the people who created Amnesia Dark Descent created Soma. I don't know how correct that is, or if that's even remembered correctly, but I'm hoping I said that properly. And if I did, yes. And if I didn't, my luck just sucks. Because my brain isn't very active anymore. Not as it was whenever I was, like, what, 13? 9 to 13. Because I was in middle school whenever I was talking about the mythical gods of the old and such. And my teachers were thrilled to hear me talk about that whenever I was in class and all about that. But these days, my brain is just slower than crazy. Forgetful as always, even more as I get older. And I told my gram this as I was lighting her up on this whole forgetting thing. She she was telling me about how she even forgets the simplest words of the vocabulary, like I just did some time ago. I was like, heck, I'm 33, and I've been dealing with something like that since the age of 25, so there's nothing to fret about there. And I said, as soon as I get to your age, no doubt I'm going to be looking like... So... Wait. Eight here. Mm-hmm. Here. So yeah, 118 points from Rotten altogether. See, I have to write it down to figure it out, because if I don't plan this out now, I'll never plan it out or get it planned out in the future. And that's how it is with my memory. If I can't get anything done, it's because I didn't write it down to remember. I'm going to cut it here, because I got 4 of these mysterious eggs and 9 of these evolutors. It's past 3 a.m. I need to get some sleep. I need to edit these videos tomorrow. So as always, I'm King Willix, thanks to the help of Silver. See you again in the next one. Peace out.